Okay, everyone. Well, welcome. We have a light crowd tonight, but it is after 6:30, so we can go ahead and get the meeting started. I will go ahead, or Anne, do you mind running it since?
Yeah, I forget what I'm supposed to do, but we'll just start the meeting at 6:32 on June 24th.
Okay, so first we can just go through and do approval of agenda, if you don't mind.
Do you want me to do this, or Anne?
We have a motion to approve the agenda.
Oh, there's Ashley. Okay.
Sorry, I was just saying.
I motion to approve the agenda.
You second it?
I second it.
Okay.
Okay, and then same for minutes, please, for May.
Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I motion to approve the minutes.
Okay.
I second that.
All right. Do we have any public comment tonight?
So we did have one public comment sent to your emails prior to the meeting, and then also a printed copy is in your packet that you have in front of you. So I can give you all a moment to read that. And then if anyone online would like to provide public comment. Oh, there we go. I do see a hand up. Okay, so public comment, you have 3 minutes. You should be able to see the timer on your screen. I'll go ahead and allow Jasmine to speak.
Hello, my name is Jasmine Brown. I am the DEI artist that was selected to complete the DEI sculpture. And I sent in my written public comment, my letter of complaint and protest about the termination of my contract. I believe that it is unfair and the opposite of equitable to cancel my contract, especially on the grounds that you want more time to rework the public art policy that should have been sorted out before the call was made live, if you had any doubts and questions about that. Instead, I was contracted to do this project. I set aside other projects to focus on working on this project. And the termination of this contract will have a detrimental effect on me and my business and my livelihood. So I'm asking respectfully for the Arts Commission to reconsider the decision to terminate my contract. The delays that resulted from changing the location to waiting for the city manager to sign the contract and waiting for final approvals for the location change were beyond my control. And I have made adjustments as requested to my initial design. I made those adjustments to my design and submitted them to staff. And it seems that some of my designs and sketches were not passed on to the commission for approval so that I could get my next installment of financing so that I could go ahead and start fabricating the piece, or even have the structural engineer work up plans for me. So I'd already talked to a fabricator, worked out several different scenarios that would keep us within budget. I made it perfectly clear that I was willing to work within the budget that was given to me. But it seems like this was already decided for some reason. And I'm protesting in the strongest sense of the word to the termination of this contract. So that concludes my comments. You can see the rest of my statement that I sent out to all the commissioners as well. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, is there anyone else online who'd like to provide public comment? All right, that is our public comment section.
So Emily, I'd like to just ask a question. Is there anything that we need to do to follow up on this or as a commission?
I don't believe as a commission, as staff, we'll definitely be in touch with Jasmine. This was the first time we've heard from the artist since that letter went out about a month ago. So we're happy that the lines of communication are open, and I'm sure we'll be in touch probably tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, let me know if you need anything.
Okay, sounds
Happy to
good.
help out.
So next on the agenda actually is the DEI art agreement. Everyone in your email May 30th received an update on that. And I think the last public comment from Jasmine just let everyone know that contract has been terminated until after our art strategic plan is set in place and we have a little bit clearer vision and guidelines of how to move forward with these processes in the future. So that is the update there. And then for new business, we do have our consultants from Framework here with us. We're going to be having some open discussion and kind of kicking off our new process to get this large project completed. And it's a very exciting project. Council was very happy to approve it all last month. So we can go ahead and let Sarah and Leslie get started whenever.
Yeah. Oh, screen. Okay, thank you. Yeah, we've got some slides presented, but just first of all, we wanted to introduce ourselves, and I guess I also do want to say thank you to Jasmine for her comments, and it really, I think, points to the importance of getting some of these procedures right. So we're here to help you do that. My name is Leslie Bain. I founded Framework in 2013. I am an architect, urban designer, and I've been involved in various art forms my entire life. I play the oboe. I've been a theater mom. I'm on 2 theater boards. I've been on King County's For Culture Public Art Advisory Board and many others. I'm always doing something along those lines. We love doing art plans because it's a really wonderful way to look at your community. We also do a lot of straight ahead planning, and much as parking and zoning and density are really important issues. I love looking at your community through the arts, through culture, who you are, who you want to be, how we can make that more visible, and bring out the creativity in your community. So that's what we like to do. I'm going to let Sarah introduce herself.
Yeah, I'm Sarah Lukens, and I'm a
Hang on. There you go.
That'll do it. I'm Sarah Lukens. I'm an urban planner and urban designer at Framework, and my background is in landscape architecture and urban planning. And I'm really excited to be working on this project with you all. Okay. And we've got another table.
Yeah, and it's June, so you can see some people are in other spots and online. We have Carolyn Law, who is our public artist, and she's out tonight, but she'll be around a lot, and she's wonderful. I've worked with her before. We did an art plan for Tukwila together when they introduced their 1% for arts. She is a working artist in terms of visual arts, but also does a lot of public arts planning, and has been on all kinds of boards and commissions throughout her career. So that will be great to have her with us. So that's our group, and other people from Framework who will be involved as we do some public outreach and need a lot of boots on the ground. So we'd love to kind of hear from you guys and bring the slideshow up.
Yeah.
So tonight we want some back and forth. We do have some presentation, but we want to go over what the scope of the work is. what the schedule is, all that kind of stuff, the nitty-gritty stuff. Just want to say before we start that this is your plan, and we're here to help you create that plan. So we're going to be seeing a lot of each other. It's going to be fun. We'd like to talk about living the dream. So who you want to be artistically and creatively. We want our process to be part of that. We want to help you build relationships in the community with your artists, with people that want to be creative, that maybe don't know they're creative. So we want to help you do that and do that together. All right.
Recording in progress.
Okay. So if you guys wouldn't mind introducing yourselves and then saying just kind of what encouraged you to be part of the Arts Commission, that would be really great.
Yeah. I'll start. I'm Ann Humes. We met during the whole RFP process, and I think I've been on the commission for 3 years. Not a great historian. I decided to join the Arts Commission because I think that there's a lot of room in Sammamish to develop arts. I think it's a highly, highly technologically heavy population, and I feel like arts can really support that technology. So what I like about Sammamish, it's an awesome place to live and to have a family and to just feel like a part of a community. So I've been here in Sammamish since, I think it's going on a little over 20 years. So it's been a while.
My name is Venkat. I've been in this committee only past few months, and I moved into Sammamish in '98. But then I took a break for 10 years, and then come back. You can't buy back your own house, stuff like that. So yeah, this is a place where you could do a lot of enhancements in terms of art. Because what we were used to in 99, 2000, the kind of presence there was, some artistic presence in this place, right? That's not there anymore, you know. So I'd like to see more public displays, more sculptures, more, you know, more areas for people to just walk in and feel, you know, they're among artists or heart in some sense, right?
Mm-hmm. Mike?
My name's Mike Gaffney. I'm new to the commission. I think this is my third meeting. I'm an architect, and I'm a professional architect and an amateur musician as well. So I've raised 2 adult sons in Sammamish. We've been here since '99, when 228th was a 2-lane road with no left turn in the middle. And we've really watched the community grow. I've received a lot from the city of Sammamish and from the community. And now that my sons are grown and out supporting themselves, it's an opportunity for me to give back. So that's why I'm here.
Congratulations on that,
Yeah,
the
thanks.
sons.
Yeah, thank you.
And then we've got folks online. Ashley, you're at the top on our screen.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I've been on the Arts Commission. I can't remember how long. Sadeshna, I'm 1 year less than Sadeshna, I think. So when she talked next, -1. I joined the Arts Commission because I'm really passionate about arts, and I was raised to be involved in the community. So this seemed like the right fit, and I can't wait to work together.
Great. All right, Natalie, there's a chicken on your screen there. Natalie, are you there? Okay. Sudeshna, why don't you go?
All right. Hi. We've met before, so hello again. I've been on the commission the longest, I think. 1 year more than Ashley. I have no idea when that was. But when Ashley and I joined, we started working on the strategic plan. We really desperately wanted to see it happen. So I'm so glad that it's finally happening, and it'll just give us a really good sense of direction and figure out programming based on what the plan comes up with. So I'm really looking forward to that. Sorry.
Great, thank you. Natalie, are you there? Okay, well, let's move on. Oops, there we go. Yeah, so we wanted to, at the very beginning, talk about the purposes for the plan and just make sure that these are still the ones that are top of your list. So these came right out of the RFP. Clear roles and expectations for the commission, how the commission fits into arts and culture programming, clear guidelines and criteria. A lot of this is very public art focused, not the sort of broader arts and culture. I think we won't leave that out, but we'll have more of a focus on the public art side. And then we added one. We wanted to make sure that this is your plan, that helps you with the relationships with the community and hit the ground running. So if that's a good add, we'll leave that one in. Natalie, hi.
Looks like sound, yeah.
I'm so sorry. I had like microphone problems earlier just now, so I
okay.
switched into an iPad.
It's all right.
No worries.
Okay, so hi, my name is Natalie. I'm the youth representative from the Sammamish Chiefs Board. I recently just joined the commission. I decided to join the Arts Commission because art's my passion. I had it as a hobby. I've learned art since I was 5 years old. And I think Sammamish is such a wonderful place to live. I've grown up here. There's so many community events and opportunities to give back to the city that watched me basically grow up. So I've loved the amount of volunteering that I could do within the city.
That's great. We're really pleased to have youth voice representation, and hopefully you can enlist input from your colleagues. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
So just one point of clarification. Which of these 5 purposes did you say that you added?
We added the 5th one.
The 5th one, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think that looks great.
Great. Okay. All right, so we're going to look at the scope. Just, I think it's really important at the beginning to get ourselves a roadmap and have everybody understand what that is. So we are working with staff. We've been doing that already. We did see the city council recently, whatever that was, a couple weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Time flies. The city manager we will also be working with, and obviously you guys. We want everybody to be transparent. We want to make sure everybody knows what we're doing and give them the chance to weigh in. They don't have to, but we want to give them that chance because we want everybody's buy-in. Part of this is going to be a public outreach plan. Outreach is really important. And we have a draft that we start, but we'll fill it in with some input from you tonight. We've gotten a great list of contacts from city folks, and we'll have a discussion tonight about events and roles and all that kind of stuff. So phase 2, after we get everything set up and we get the public outreach plan all set, we'll put a survey together, and we'll talk about these things in more depth. I just want to do the overview. There's a lot of survey fatigue in the world. We want to do something that really uses people's time well and gives us good information. We want to join you at community events. We talk about which ones might be the best ones for us to be at. We want to have some specific open houses where people can come tell us what they're interested in, and we give them some of our observations. And the first one is really about the visioning and some of the questions that we asked you. What do you love about Sammamish? How can we make that more visible? And we also will touch base with focus groups, the stakeholders in the city that are particularly interested in the arts, and we can have these focus groups be done in a different way. I think it's fun to have one that is the artists, and we want one workshop definitely with you guys, probably 2 workshops with Carolyn on the nuts and bolts. So that will be fun, and then we probably want to talk to people in the school board and other civic leaders because we believe that the arts is not just a silo. Phase 3. So and we've already started in on some of this, is the background research and the existing conditions. You've got some good documentation of public art that you have, but there's more out there. I think we like a sort of wider definition. So, I mean, you've got a water tower with some kind of nice stuff on it. So is that art? I think it is. We like to have the work in the arts be dovetailing with the other things that the city's doing. So again, to not be a silo. What is it that we can do through the arts that actually help you accomplish the vision that you've come up with in your comprehensive plan, which is about, you know, diversity and inclusion and quality of life and in the environment. So how can the arts magnify the vision that you have? Another teammate is Annie Siegel, who is an economist, and she does municipal finance stuff, which is really great to have involved in the arts work that we do. One of the things that she likes to do is look at peer cities. So who do you kind of compare yourself to? How are they doing? How much do they spend on resources? What kinds of things are they doing that you might, you know, we might learn from? So that's going to be, I think, an interesting analysis for you. The other thing that I think is a little bit different about Sammamish is we want to look at what the ecosystem of the arts is on the east side. So, you know, you don't live in a vacuum. You know, you can drive to Village Theater. You know, you can drive to Redmond. So what is it that you want to be focusing on in this ecosystem that is yours? You know, do you want some people from Redmond to drive down here sometimes? You know, maybe you do. I don't know. So where are you in the ecosystem? The other thing, if we have time to get to tonight, we've got some maps, and let's look at where in the city your art is. It's pretty focused nearby here, and certainly in the building itself. There's some out in the parks. Where is art missing? Do you want to get it out in the neighborhoods? Or do you want to have a magnet where it's a consolidated thing that people can come? So, and it's probably a both and, but then you've got a certain amount of resources. So there's sort of a geographic thing we want to look at. And then we develop the plan. When we get to the point where we've got some ideas together, but it's not completely fixed yet, that's when we would suggest having the second open house so people can have something to respond to. The first one is vision-y and what are you thinking? But when we get a little firmer but not solid, then that's a good time to get people to come and say, yeah, I think you should add this, or, you know, I think I like this better than that. And then with that input, then we finalize the plan. Do you want to talk schedule?
I can talk schedule, sure. So we had our kickoff meeting about, I guess, last week, and now we're full steam ahead with you all. You can see in this phase 1 that Leslie discussed that we're periodically going to be coming back to you as well as City Council, the city manager, in order to make sure that everybody's brought along for the process, as Leslie was saying. The next step thing is we're really going to be jumping into the public engagement, which makes sense, as during the summer, that's when people are out and about. So we're going to try and capture as much feedback as we can during the summer. And then through that process, we'll be starting to work on this visioning and doing visioning events, and also doing the inventory of existing public art and art programming. So you all will also be obviously brought along for that process and also providing input for that because you are the experts too. So we'll be doing that, and then simultaneously reviewing city plans, et cetera, and then we've got really a large chunk for the plan formulation and making sure that we've got a lot of feedback during that process, and then finishing up next March.
Does anybody have any questions before we keep going?
I had a question on phase 2. When we start to reach out to the, Sammamish residents, how are we going to be communicating that? I want to make sure that the Arts Commission is helping you, supporting in that, so we get as many voices heard as possible.
Yes. Is that what comes up after
That's
this?
exactly what comes up. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the segue.
Yeah, okay. So there's a couple of things to that question. One is, here is an agenda for the monthly meetings that we have with you guys. This is not cast in stone, but it does sort of show the sequence of things we'll be talking about. We're getting acquainted tonight, the visioning. And so these are some of the things that we want to talk to you about, and we can refine this as we go along. We have the list from the city of people that they put together for contacts. The very best way to get people to be involved is for you guys to have personal contacts, that you reach out to the particular networks that you have. There's so much noise all around us. Sometimes, getting something, another email, just doesn't always do the trick. So especially, we'll be looking at who you think we should talk to in terms of the focus groups that need particular reaching out to, maybe even on a one-on-one. And then when we're having some of these events, to make sure that we really get people to know about it and enthusiastic about it. And we'll work together to come up with some things that hopefully, they should be fun. Any meeting should be fun. The arts meetings should definitely be fun. We love to have artists come and do a performance. We've had poets, we've had puppeteers, music. That was especially great when we were doing all these awful Zoom meetings, for hours. But it's really nice to find some of the people that are in your community, and we pay them a little bit. It's not going to get them too far, but we try to honor their presence and just make sure that we are thinking about art, when we're having our meetings. So those are some of the ways that we're hoping to have your help on that.
And then are those meetings part of the Standing Arts Commission meetings, or are we looking at meetings outside of?
I think they would be part of your standing meetings.
Okay.
If you have other agenda items, we can figure out how to use your time well. Mm-hmm. But the idea is we want regular contact with you, so we're not working in a vacuum and handing you something and saying, here's your plan. Because, you guys are going to be the ones implementing it, so it's got to work for you. Yeah. So I think, I don't know if there's other things that you want to roll in for the time that we're meeting with you. I think we can think about that as we go along too. Things that will come up and come up for you guys. So this is a draft. It's sort of a roadmap.
I think, and I'll let somebody else talk, I promise. I think something that might be nice for each one of these meetings is to know kind of what your objective or outcome that you're looking for. Like when we're looking at the review of the Strategic Art Commission structure, like what do you want to come away with at the end of that meeting? Like what would be helpful for you? Mm-hmm. Then that way we can prepare and come with answers.
Sure. So we can get an agenda together before the meeting, and the desired outcomes would be part of that.
One question. Yeah. Have you done this before with any other city?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any material we can review?
Yes. We're working on one right now with Oak Harbor. We have done Tukwila, SeaTac, Olympia. We've done...
Can we review, please?
What's that?
Can we review something? Your work with the city?
With the city of
Can
Sammamish?
we review? Like Tukwila, what you have done before? Can we review what you've done? Just to get a sense of what the deliverables are.
They're online, and we can give you links to those.
Send us links, please.
I would say that each one has been quite different because different cities need different things. Okay. And Carolyn also did Redmond, so we can give you links to those.
Okay.
But do keep in mind that we want this to be your art plan, and I think the focus here is going to be on those 5 objectives that we had. And some of the other cities were a little bit different. So it's not a cookie cutter approach. We won't give you the exact same one and change out the name of the city. Yeah, anybody online have any questions?
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So I think I understand the scope and breadth of what you're considering the arts. And it ranges from art installation throughout the community to live performance, theater, music. Does it include interactive art, like we have a pollinator project that's going on that the kids actually create the art for the community? Is that included in the scope of your study?
Yeah, I really think the broad definition of art is really good because we want to engage the kids and people that don't consider themselves like capital A artists, but are really creative people.
Yes,
it's important.
Yeah, and when there's an opportunity, I think that's a big one for me personally, is bringing the artist out of the community that might not even know that they're artists.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's especially true, and I think it's a very family-oriented city, and so I think getting the schools involved and the kids involved, they're out for the summer, so it's a little harder to snag them right away. But I think that's an important piece that's particular, especially to here. Okay, so I think one of the things that we wanted to talk to you about is, how you would like your role to be in the involvement of it. So I think our hope is that that you will be able to reach out to your particular networks personally in a way that we can't do, the city can't really do in the same way. What kinds of communities you're in touch with, how we can find your artists. Yeah, it would be great.
And these are all Sammamish residents?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sudeshna, do you have any input?
Yeah, where do I begin?
I thought so. Just talking about the roles you guys want to play, and yeah.
Yeah, no, I did not a similar study at all, but a study specifically for the town center where I did cover a lot of these things. And I think for me, the frustrations that bubbled out of that's not my own, but like in general work, the lack of space or cultural spaces to, practice art or to, do workshops or gather to make art. I think that's sorely lacking in Sammamish. As you know, the town center is getting developed, and people are trying to figure out ways and means of how art can be infused in all these spaces. And also what the budget of the Arts Commission should look like, how much of it should be dedicated to public art versus activities and so on. So I don't know if and I'm sure there's something in the plan about, figuring all this stuff out, but I just wanted to bring that up because that's a concern that has been expressed by a lot of the community members.
Great, thanks.
I'm curious to hear from you, like beyond just making sure that we have the ability to kind of reach out to the people that we know or the communities that we know. What kind of input would you like from the Arts Commission? Like what's the ideal level of input? Because I know all of us, we can give you lots of ideas. I'm not sure that's the best use of your time. If it is, great. If not, like what works best for you?
We'll take all the input you want to give us. We love input. We just don't want to make up stuff for you. We want input from you and from all the community. So, but I don't want to just be your input, right? So helping us to reach out is really great. I think we can get more presence out there. If you guys want to show up at farmers markets or other events, we'll go to some, but we can't go to all of them. So if we get some materials together that you can use to be out in community, we'd like to get those to you so we can all work together to get the most outreach possible.
Okay. And then do you have a process to kind of vet or weigh kind of this, I can't think of a better way, the significance of the input? Because I know that there may be some members of the community who have a very strong opinion about a particular element of the strategic plan that may not be shared as broadly across all of the all of the people that we reach out to. So do you have a methodology that you use to establish, like, we heard a lot, excuse me. We heard a lot, we heard this from you, but, sorry, it's a new phone. I don't know how it works. We heard this from you, and we want to weigh this against the other things that we're hearing from the community, so we don't have like a skewed plan, I guess.
Yeah, it's not a science. We're not going to be doing a scientific survey. So I think you have to make sure that when we do the survey, and again, every place is different. You guys are a pretty tech savvy place. For instance, we were in Oak Harbor last week doing this. We went to the senior center with paper surveys. So there are going to be people that are more likely to take your survey. For instance, you find if you go to a concert and ask people what they like concerts. So it's important to get as many different opinions as you can. A lot of times you get a lot of things are very weighted, right? So a lot of people like a certain thing. But I think that one of my favorite artists, Perry Howard, says that public art should be like a library. So we're not going to have all science books. We're not going to have all comic books. If you hate comic books, ignore the comic book. So I think the hard part is really priorities, and what do you do first. But I think the idea with the plan is we'll be doing the library. So if your favorite thing isn't up now, it's on the list. But then that it's related to the resources that we can find as well. There are some really serious resources out there right now because of Doors Open in King County. So I think we really hope to position you, basically your nonprofit sector, probably in partnership with the city. How can we position folks here to take advantage of those resources? That way we expand the pie and get more library things.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, and that's something that we've been talking about, grant making and how to be creative and just go for funds that we don't even know exist. So I think that should also be part of the process. And the other thing that I wanted to ask was, what kind of work would you be doing with neighboring cities? So like Issaquah or Redmond, or, there's a lot of partnership options that are available, and I personally would like to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I think partnering is really great. And with partnering, it does take staff, because people say, well, we're going to partner with the city, but really that's a person. So I think one of the things, and we'll work with Annie on this, is what kind of staffing levels would make sense for the level of ambition that you have. And that's when looking at the peer cities, it's interesting to see, well, other cities of your size, other cities that you kind of think about being in the same league as. So I think that will be helpful. But I do think you've got a particular opportunity right now with Doors Open. And if you haven't read about that, you guys have talked about that.
I attended the last workshop in Seattle.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe we'll send some links out to the whole commission so you can take a look at that, because it's a really significant amount of funding for the county for arts, and I think technology is included in that. So I know one of the things that we've heard already is that beautiful idea of really showing that technology can be part of art and creativity. So I think that's one thing that might come out of this as something that you could be that could be special to you. But we'll see how people feel about that and what the opportunities are.
Yeah, it's arts, technology, and heritage, and I think we have a lot of people who are interested in all three in this city, so that would definitely be a great fit. Great. Okay, well, we'll, I think, be talking about that quite a bit then.
Do we have time for one more question?
Of course, yeah.
I'm just curious, with a program like this, how is success measured at the back end? There's a list of recommendations. There's a execution period where then the community, then the city, the commission is executing on the plan. How do you, at the end, how do you know if it worked or not?
Well, I think the best way to do that is to think about it being an action-oriented plan from the beginning. It's also a problem-solving plan. So the issues that you're having in terms of procedures, I know we'll sit down and say, what's working for you, what isn't working, what's missing. So if we can give you the tools that are missing, I think that would be a success. The other thing is, for instance, in CTAC, we set out a series of goals that said, here's what we want to do. They wanted to get some more public art out. They wanted to get a way of procuring artists that was good. So they've done it. It took them longer than we hoped, but they've got a couple of art pieces that are going in about now in a neighborhood park that really was short of any kind of visible artistic presence. And so if we get you a list of action items, I think that would be a good way to see if you're doing what you said you wanted to do.
And then were you asking for us to sort of state how we wanted to be involved or how we wanted to contribute?
Yeah, I just, we can tell you what our roles are. I'd love to hear what you would like to do yourselves as part of this plan.
Yeah, and from what I'm sensing from what you've described, we all have opinions about installation, how many, and music's important, and interactive art opportunities. But personally, if I can be helpful in the outreach portion of this, it seems like that's going to be probably one of the hardest parts, is getting people. I mean, looking at this room tonight, it's going to take a special conversation to get people to show up probably for these. I think. I don't, I've only been with this group for a while. And if that means going out to, I'm thinking of events like at the schools where they have big parent-teacher nights or whatever, and just as part of their announcements, if that's possible, as part of the community, to go out and just say, this is happening, we'd love to have you involved, teachers, parents, kids, that sort of thing, if that would be helpful.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because I think part of this is the plan process should be part of the outcome. I would hope that when we're done, you've got more relationships with the folks that are creative people in your community, and maybe smoked out some that you didn't know. Maybe some people in Sammamish will see some things going on that they didn't know, but it's hard. I think it's harder since COVID. We were on the couch or on the screens on Zoom, and I think it's been harder for people in the arts to get folks into the theaters and other things. So I think it is a bit of a different world now than it was. So ways that we can cut through, and doing you can do that in arts in a way that it's harder to do in other ways of planning. Doing something that's sort of surprising. Is a good way to get people's attention.
This seems
in a
more
good
like,
way.
Hearing you, this seems more like why Microsoft was hiring McKinsey to lay people off. It's like that. You're telling us what to do. We don't want to come up with anything by ourselves. We'd rather take some pointers from you. So eventually, if things work out, it's for everybody's benefit. If it doesn't work out, you told us and we didn't follow. It's like that. I don't know. I get it. But I would suggest we go and also engage with the other cities that you've worked with, just to see, what their success was and everything. And then we can also know to what extent we'll be successful in following your pointers, that is. Okay. If you could give us a registry of all the musicians and artists out there, that's tangible. But you're telling us to go and get it ourselves. So I'm kind of wondering what...
I'm saying it has to be a collaborative effort.
Collaboration between whom and whom?
You all and us.
Okay. You'll be able to give us some registry, some sort of like a list or something? Or we'll be able to come up with it? How? Is there any way? Like you said, it's like smoking out all those people. It's like they're all hidden, right?
Can I speak to this, if you wouldn't mind?
Yes, sure.
Yeah. So just to clarify, the city has hired the consultant with a set fee and a set scope. That is all they are here to do for us. We are the community here, and we know our community best, and we will have our role in this. As an advisory board, all of you have to step up and do your bit to make this a success. So we have to go at it with that attitude. And if we want the consultant to do more, we have to be prepared to go back to council and ask for more dollars. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so we've got a list of events that we got from the city. Are there specific ones that you think would be most successful to have us at? And there's the farmer's market. The school events are not happening at this time of year. But if you've got some thoughts on that, I think you can let us know.
Yeah, there's the 25th anniversary jubilee.
Right.
I think hopefully there will be many people there. So, and then I do know that the Chamber of Commerce is planning a family sort of. It's like I think it's like more like vendors, but it's for families in September at CWU. I'm happy to get you more information, but hopefully that will be a nice draw in the community as well.
Great.
So.
Yeah, and just so you know, we make activities for people to do that are there, especially kid things.
Nice.
Hopefully you attract their parents. And so we try to get some information input from people, but also do something that attracts people to be interactive and to be creative.
Yeah. I think having a little bit of a communication plan might be nice. You know, if we think about like, you know, we want to warm people up to this idea, like this is coming and here's where you can find us. And, you know, and like you said, not everybody reads email, but I think if you have kind of an approach that's, you know, that's systematic and it's like it shows up in every Sammamish newsletter, it's like, now's your time to provide input, because I was talking to somebody who's been trying to do a music festival and it's been a challenge. So now would be the time to hear that person's thoughts about that. And if that's something that the community feels strongly about and we put it in the strategic plan, now we have a way to do that.
Yeah,
So,
that's great. That'll be part of the public outreach plan.
yeah.
But I think that's specifically the communication plan
Yeah.
is super helpful. And we'll get some graphics together that go with that.
Perfect. Yeah, just so people, you know, they have to see it 7 times before it like clicks, right? You know, at least.
Yeah.
I know that. That's me.
We also have concerts in the park, 4th of July, and a few other things coming up. I'm sure the Parks Department can give you a list, but I think the Arts Commission has done some activities around the concerts in the park. So, you know, that's always a great place to hang out and talk to families.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's the Shakespeare is that at Beaver Lake?
Yeah, I would know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great one. Okay. Okay, that's great. And we're trying to.
Sorry, is Beaver Lake Issaquah or Sammamish? Is it Sammamish? Oh, wow. Okay. Good to know.
Okay. All right. So the background research and existing. How are we doing for time? Let's see. What's that? We're at 7:20, so we need to kind of. Okay. All right. I think we don't probably need to dive into this yet for phase 3, just so you know it's coming. The plan documents. So one of the things that we wanted to talk with you guys about tonight is just your visions on Sammamish and what you think makes you unique, what you'd like to highlight, whether it's like the trails, the parks. Open up for your thoughts.
What makes Sammamish unique for me is the wide range of outdoor activities that are available, recreational activities, from the lake itself to the trail systems. You can sailboard, mountain bike, trail run, or hike, sports fields as far as the eye can see, but the natural environment, I think, is one of the most appealing things to me. And we're at the foothills of the Cascades. So 30 minutes from here, you can world-class mountain biking, like the best in the world, and it's right at our back door. So lots of opportunities to spend time outdoors.
Yeah, it sounds like water is part of that when you talked about the lake and the Cascades.
Yep.
Thoughts?
I mean, I feel like Sammamish has kind of grown as a niche city, has kind of grown into and I've said this before, and there's just a lot of people up here with a lot of technology IP. So it feels very much like a community that is based around some of the newest innovation there. So maybe what I'm saying is the niche is I think we have a lot of innovators here that maybe don't always connect as much as they could. So I think, bringing people together, like what you said, kind of smoking people out a little bit, bringing people together. So finding ways to get them talking and communicating and learning new things.
So learning is like actually an important part of.
It always is for me, but I don't want to speak for everybody.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I was going to add that Sammamish, I mean, I agree with everybody. There's a lot of parks and beautiful trails and, old buildings that maybe we can figure out how to use. There's also a lot of parents who are interested in only STEM-based classes and education for their kids. And I think if there's a way to kind of connect that to art, so for example, how math and piano goes together, for them to kind of consider art as even a vital human endeavor. I think that's something that we should definitely be looking at.
Yeah, sounds good.
I wanted to suggest something. We had a program in Crossroads Community Center, and they have large rooms where all these people it's a community thing, so they're all getting together for a lot of playing pool and everything else. On the other side, there are these rooms available where people get those rooms and then they play music and things like that. It's all pretty, you see a lot of community coming in just to play cards, pool. There's some, halls like that. There's Pine Lake here, community center, right? What else do we have? Anything else like that to bring people?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I can help answer that. So the Pine Lake Community Club is private. The city has nothing to do with that.
So do we have anything
The
public?
city has built a community and aquatic center, which is run by the YMCA, and that is we work as a contract city, and we don't offer direct programming. So for our community center, we have a partnership with the YMCA. We have an after-school program, and we partner with the Boys and Girls Club, and that is at what you probably remember as the old library.
Yeah.
That location. And so that's really what we have. We also have the Beaver Lake Lodge that we rent out. And so for summer camps, there are different organizations that come forward and offer camps out of that location or in our parks. But that is all we have.
Like you can't get in there, just play some pool, go with a bunch of friends, play some pool or bingo or whatever, and then come out. There's no place like that here, right?
No.
No. Okay. I mean, I see that place swarming with folks, they just come in and do, and then there are lots of flyers and things like that. So much advertisement, so much coming together is happening there in Crossroads, right?
Do you know if that is city-run or is that commercial?
City-run.
It is city-run,
Right.
okay.
Yeah, and it's owned by city.
Right.
Bellevue.
And we're talking about Bellevue.
Yeah.
Bellevue has 2 community centers, and they are a much bigger city, and their taxes are different, and so their revenues, their model of operation is very different from Sammamish.
Yeah, it makes sense, but we should have something like that.
Yep. You can put it on the wish.
Anybody online want to weigh in?
I'd like to add something else if there
sorry.
isn't. One of the things I've appreciated about Sammamish raising a small family is cultural diversity. There are lots of different cultures represented in Sammamish, and it seems like there's an opportunity there for shared cultural heritage as it's expressed in art.
Natalie, do you have some thoughts on that?
No, not really. But I do like the ideas that everyone's coming up with. They're also really so interesting.
I just want to add that there are 2 more high schools coming in this area, and we really have to think about our youth and programming for them because there is literally nothing out here. It's that age group that's not elementary school, but like middle and high school kids who have very limited options here.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Since I would say that I will always look forward to community events that involve lots of teens and especially art events on those.
Do you feel like kids are leaving the city in order to get some of the programming that they want to be able to access?
I would, I would say that if there's any of these like options, these community options in Sammamish, it'd be so convenient, and also I would think that would be really fun too.
Yeah.
I would definitely bring my friends along.
I like the one that the city has, the skate park. So many kids get together there. Like that, it would be nice to have like a small amphitheater kind of thing with a small stage where music can happen. You know, we have to foster kids to come in there and then play, give them some speakers. You know, they should be able to roll it in from some shed and then hook it all up. You know, $3,000-4,000 should give us enough to like kind of put a shed there and then let them do stuff. And then some amphitheater, you know, I don't know how expensive or how to do that, or maybe we already have. I don't know where it is. I don't know.
I think you said something earlier that was interesting. What could we do that would draw people up here from Redmond or Issaquah? Because right now I feel like it's, you know, the residents of Sammamish kind of leave to go do some of these things and then come back. So I would be really interested to understand or hear some of your ideas that might draw people to Sammamish, right? So we're not just kind of this encapsulated little tax system, right? We can bring people in to help us, you know, raise some extra money for the city.
Okay. There's definitely an economic component to the arts.
The CWU thing, the campus. Is there
Central,
any relationship with the city? I think we own the building or something, right?
Yes, that is correct. So the city owns
Can we like
it.
kind of get part of the parking lot and make an amphitheater there, pull people back in? Because it's largely unused, you know?
Right.
Like
the way
two cars come in the night and then they're exchanging something and then they go away. Then a cop car, you know, police car comes in, looks around and then goes away. That's all that's happening there.
The city currently leases the building to Central Washington, and based on the terms of the lease, the city is not able to work in silo and change anything. It has to be in discussion with Central Washington. And so we do anticipate that they might want to revisit the terms of their lease, and then if they do that, we will have that opportunity.
Because I find a lot of people going into Safeway, just in front of Safeway, and then they play music. It's so nice. So many cars come in and go, and you know, there's nice music playing. Blah blah blah. Wish they had a better place where they could do that.
Sure.
You know?
Okay, and how long are we going? We go till. We got time. Okay, great. Yeah, so we try to make the document itself artistic and beautiful. So this is just kind of a start. If you like it, great. If you don't, let us know what you like better. I think what we'd like to do now is we've got some maps of the city, and we'd like to sit with you for a minute, look at the map, say where is the art that you have? Are there places you would like to see the art? It's an interesting conversation about, you know, the cluster in one spot here that has some magnetism versus, you know, people having it in their neighborhoods. Just a couple of things to think about that we've done in other places. This was in Vancouver, Washington. The city had a small grant that would go to neighborhood groups that had an idea of something they wanted to do. And with that idea of sort of multiple objectives being met, it meant that neighbors had to get together, talk to each other, come up with an idea. And, it doesn't take a lot of money, but they could say, we want, a sculpture here, or we want some cairns on our trails, or we want to have a little shed that the kids can have be their place. But anyway, the idea of getting some small sparks out in neighborhood is something to think about. I think anything we can do to make it more fun to walk here. We did a project with Kirkland where we had some neighborhood art projects. Public Works had some locations and would put a concrete footing in with the ability for neighborhoods to make a cairn along the trails. Those are the markers that people put on trails. So if you wanted to use, I don't know, maybe teacups or driftwood or whatever kinds of things you wanted, that you could make your own neighborhood-specific marks on the trails. So there are a lot of different ideas that don't cost a lot of money, but help neighbors get to know one another and come up with a project. So I think trails are a really interesting thing. You're talking about running on the trails. Maybe entries into town is something to think about. That's something a lot of people want to do. We worked with City of Olympia to make 8 different art pieces. They were called gateways, but nobody liked the term gateway. So there are paired sculptures. And for instance, they just put their third one in. But the second one was done by a Squaxin carver, and that's their tribe, is the Squaxin. And it's at a trailhead, and one is land people and one's water people. And they're really beautiful and have solar lights that light them up at night. So there's some things that can be done, out and about. But I think you've got a nice thing going here where you've got a center. So love to have those discussions about how you want to prioritize resources for the placing of art. Should we get the maps out? Yeah. It's going to be hard to do online, but maybe while Sarah's getting the map out, the people that are online can kind of weigh in on the places that they would like to see art and just thoughts on priorities. Ashley, do you have some thoughts on that?
I'm still seeing slide number 22. Is that something?
Oh,
Are you still sharing
it's just our look and feel of the document style. We just, especially with art plans, some people have real opinions on that. So we wanted to get this in early on.
Okay. But you're not showing the map, right?
You're not sharing.
Yeah.
But I can throw it up on Miro really fast.
Oh, okay. Sure. Okay, why don't you do that and I'll roll it out. Yeah.
Sorry, Ashley.
While
Yeah,
they're
thanks for interrupting me, Sadeshna.
while they're setting it up, I wanna ask the parks person a question.
Oh, actually, Ashley was going next. I interrupted
okay,
her.
sorry.
Actually, Ashley, yeah.
Yeah, hi. I was just going to say that I'd really like to see more art in the parks and just in more public settings. I feel like we have a lot of art in the roundabouts and around the city hall, but I just think it needs to be more spread out through the city. That's all.
Sudeshna, do you have some thoughts?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Natalie, is there a place you'd like to see some art?
I'm pretty sure around San Diego, I've seen some really big blank walls. I'm thinking that murals will actually be a good idea. We could get some professional artists or maybe have a community event.
Do you have particular walls in mind?
I'm pretty sure, isn't there this wall behind QFC? Something like that.
It's likely they're private walls, but murals are great. We'll think about that for sure.
The one that she's mentioning that's in front of QFC is privately owned and it's owned by people out of state, and they are difficult to get a hold of. I tried to do a mural on it previously.
Okay, well, that's good information.
Sorry, are we talking about public art specifically?
Whatever input you'd like to make, yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see more literary art. I'm right now working with the library to see if we can do workshops and other things, but I think, again, going back to youth and giving them something to do, this is something that they can do from the comforts of their home or come to the library or any other meeting space.
Yeah. I mean, that brings up kind of an interesting point that there are some things that are digital. The libraries had really interesting art classes online. It's not as good for bringing people together, but it certainly, especially for thinking about art and technology, is that something that might be worth supporting?
Yep.
Another thing that comes to mind is we used to have, I mean, I used to work a little bit with art. We had an AS hardware store. We lost it to Trader Joe's after a while, right? There's no real art supply store like Michael's or anything here on the plateau. I mean, Home Depot I don't miss, but I can go down. But even for a small bit of canvas, if I have to go rush down to Michael's or someplace like that, or go to the other side, right? I mean, I know there are lots of empty places with these Regency people, the retail space in Sammamish Highlands. They would rather have it empty than even provide a space for something like this. Maybe the parks people could kind of go and talk to them and say, hey, provide some art supplies person to come and then be in Highlands or Pine Lake or one place, right? Wherever they could give they have so many empty spaces, it's not funny. And you've lost like Ace Hardware, things like that, but there's no space for, if you want art to grow, you better put the supplies there, right? I mean, there's what is that place? Benjamin Moore. That's not quite, artsy, right? We need to have some Ben Franklin or any one of these stores must, we should probably bid and then get them over here. One store would be good.
Yeah, the other thing along those lines is some of the libraries are doing maker spaces. So that there are tools that people can use. That's different than the art supplies, but it is, some tools that people need.
I want to be able to drive over there at 11 o'clock and then pick up something so I can come when I'm inspired, come home and do something.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Sammamish has nothing like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Keep coming back to the interactive aspect, and building on what you're saying. As an amateur musician, I go to Bellevue for rehearsal space. I go to Issaquah for lessons and rehearsal, and go to Seattle for live music venues, playing with a variety of different bands around. So the performance art, no brainer. But I wonder too, how many amateur artists we have in our community who are also yearning for an opportunity to draw, figure drawing, still life, bringing not only spaces and the supplies, but bringing instruction to the community, or tapping into people who are talented enough to teach, and combining supplies, space, and instruction to build a community that is art on display and art that's being performed, but it brings out the artist in each of us.
I like that. I like that idea. I mean, even if, if we can't get the commercial space to just do something like pop-ups, I have many friends who are in both arts and what would be considered crafts who do pop-ups in local stores.
Yeah.
It would be really nice to bring some of that up here.
I do remember one thing though. I mean, there used to be this pottery place. We'd go there and then make our own, like they'd give us slip.
Oh, yeah.
And then we made that stuff and then they burnt in the kiln and we'd bring back with clays and everything. It was like very hands-on. Used to be here in 228, but on 228. Yeah. I don't know where it went. It just took off. I mean, some crafty place like that. Yeah, it'd be nice. I mean, and of course, Grey Barn, opposite to that, there was one family that was doing a lot of stone fire, stone, what do you call that? Some really hard clay stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, that's gone. I mean, pottery is like something where you create, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. You could create sculptures and this and that with it. Expression, right?
Yeah, yeah.
should get one of those guys and talk to these Regency people. They're so stuck up. They won't give. They'll keep empty rooms, but not give to businesses who would come in and do stuff.
Yeah. I had another question on location. So if you want to make art visible in Sammamish, where would you put it? What is the most visible? Where's a visible place here for community?
I think the parking lots and the grocery stores.
Well,
I was just going to say parking lots of grocery stores.
I
Should
mean,
do something heavy and then put it in CW, so they can't get it out.
I think there's something to be said for embracing, whatever it is, and not thinking that you have to take the beautiful spot and that's the visible spot. It's America, we park. So I think that's a really interesting idea. And it is, it's the market. Everybody's got to go to the grocery store. It's not publicly owned, so that's always a thing. Sometimes shopping centers, like I guess Ashley was saying, are not local people that are easy to find or care that much. But I think some of those places, let's take a look at.
I do think 228th has a lot of potential as well. And I think probably almost every resident of this city drives up and down that street.
Yeah. Well, and the part that's forested on either side is really lovely. I love that stretch.
Yeah.
I'm a native, so I remember Sammamish when it kind of all looked like that. But yeah, I think 228th is a public place, and a lot of your most visible places you're in the car, maybe for longer than you want to be. So I think that could be embraced.
Yeah, there are several spots along 228th where really all you're looking at, I wouldn't want to interfere with the forested parts, but where you're looking at a chain link fence and a drainage ditch or utility boxes or, just things that aren't as aesthetically pleasing. I think it would be nice if we could mask those.
It's kind of the front door, isn't it?
Yeah. And I love the idea of, like you said, I think you called it a gateway, but the paired sculpture. There's nothing that says you've arrived at Sammamish, except kind of a sign that I think was just a placeholder logo that never actually really got recreated. So, so I think something like that. I mean, even Redmond they have the old-timey bicycle that says, the bicycle capital of the United States. So,
Or the one opposite to the Pizza Hut. Yeah, nice big.
What would your
bikes,
sign say?
The Pollinator City.
Art capital of the world.
All right, ambition. Yeah, that pollinator thing is pretty interesting. And again, it kind of gets the stem to steam.
Expensive real estate.
Yeah.
I'm curious about other neighborhoods. So having lived here in Sammamish for 30 years, I've lost track, but and post-COVID, there are a lot of people walking in our communities, and they still are. When we go out on a night like tonight, you'll see 3.2-mile walk, 25 people maybe, and pets, and so I wonder about that in our community parks and whether or not the city has any jurisdiction over a partnership with neighborhood. What do you call it? The homeowners associations. Our park just down the hill in Avignon is packed every single night. Families of all cultures, and it's really a beautiful thing. 10, 15, certainly 20 years ago, that wasn't the case, but now our communities are little neighborhoods, and we all know the names of all of them if we've been here for they're just chocked full of people. And I wonder sometimes in those small parks if there's an opportunity to put artwork. Recently, somebody put a little mini library in ours. It's a little, unfortunately, it got broken, and I think they're having to rebuild it, but vandalized. But those little moments that are artistic and meaningful, to me as a member of the community, are as or more valuable than the larger art installations that are important, but are more centrally located.
That's a really nice sentiment, and especially when you're talking about the interactive thing that people can come help make it. It doesn't have to be a precious capital A
Yeah.
famous person, but it has meaning for your community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have unplanned interactive art in our community where they broke the frog off the spring. And so every day it's like, where's the frog going to be today? It's on top of the slide or it's down below. So there's, it's not what we planned, but that's what people are doing.
Do we live in the same community? Because
I
we're
live in Vintage.
Yeah, okay,
okay.
yeah, okay,
You
we're
know about
neighbors.
the
Yeah, the frog is always broken off of the spring. Yeah,
Why
sadly.
the frog? Sudeshna?
I was also going to say there's a lot of schools that are in clusters in the city. So, like the middle school will be next to the elementary school, and a little further down there'll be another high school. So something around that captures kind of that audience.
Mm-hmm.
The saffron people, they've put some deer in it. Is it theirs or the city's? Anybody knows? The saffron community, opposite to the Highlands community, like opposite to Safeway, there's this Pagliacci, right?
Right.
They've
so
got
the
this-
deer over there, I
Yeah.
believe it was part of that private project, so that's not something the city did.
That's nice though.
Yeah,
I mean, feels good.
I think
So
you
that's
raised a good point. But
private art?
Yeah. Well, yeah, private art.
Yeah.
And how do we want to be thinking about that? Maybe include that in the, just in the overall document.
And we can also consider like international projects like the Trolls by Dambo. If there are other collaborators doing other things around the world, why can't we be part of it?
Yeah.
Does the city of Sammamish have incentives for developers? Or was that private art installation at Saffron something that was just done out of the kindness of their heart, or does the city incentivize?
It's beautiful. You go sit next to the Morse brothers, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can sit there, or you can sit in Pagliacci, or you can sit in Sammamish Cafe, just watch everybody walking here. There, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, you should have something like that.
To the best of my knowledge, it was voluntarily done.
Okay.
One of the things the Art Strategic Plan can look at is there are a lot of cities that have that 1% requirement for public art. The city of Sammamish does not have that.
Okay. A lot of, and there isn't as much construction as there was,
That's
at one time, but there probably will be in the future. I hope the infrastructure can keep up, but it would be great to have something like that as part of the investment in the community.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Another thing that comes to mind is if you go to the zoo, right? They have some, I think it's brass or bronze. They have rhinos and things like that. All kids get on top of it and play. It's like very smoothed out and everything. We could have some Wall Street Bull or something put up here. Kids can go out and play,
Yeah, there's sometimes something that everybody loves, and
Yeah, I
they
mean,
take the
brass,
pictures.
brands, bronze, brass, something. Get on
Yeah.
top of it. Kids get on it. They play. Be nice.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing when you're doing the call for arts, thinking about the kind of spirit of something that you're hoping for in that artwork, that ability to touch and interact with in a way that you can't always do with some art.
Natalie, it looks like you've got your hand raised.
Oh, I was just thinking that, like, for such an events like Christmas and 4th of July, like, there's these, like, lampposts on, like, I don't remember what specific street, but it's, like, one of those really big streets that go up to the library.
Okay.
Like, the city would hang these lights on it. So I was thinking, like, certain museums, they will have these big banners displaying, like, artworks of, like, what's inside. Like, maybe we could do these with, like, specific artists.
Yeah, I noticed the flags on the light poles on 228th coming in. You've got the arms on there, so that would be a good place to think about something. I don't know what you're doing other than the flags, but I can find that.
That could be a really amazing opportunity to put local artists, visual art up there. I think it'd be pretty stunning.
Just so you know, there was a tree. There were trees that were decorated with not socks, like woolen something, and people objected to them for some reason. They looked beautiful, but just to keep in mind.
Okay.
Which trees were they?
They were on 228th, kind of along Safeway, and that's where I remember them. But they looked great, and people there was a lot of commotion around that.
I think that had more to do with the trees themselves and the impression that the trees had been kind of killed out of.
Yeah, cut down.
Because
Yeah.
kind of cut down. I don't know that the yarn bombing actually was as much of the controversy, but maybe it was. I don't know. That was a long time ago.
Right. It had to do with hazard trees close to the Starbucks on 228th. And they were reduced to stumps and allowed to be used as a base for temporary art for those tree socks for a while. And then when the socks came out, the trees were cut and then they were replanted with whatever the code required them to do.
Okay.
So if you're going to have art at entries, where would they be? Would they actually be at the city line, or would it be further in where you kind of get towards the retail areas, or I think something that would get you to City Hall? Where would you put those kind of gateway features?
I mean, I immediately thought of the intersection of, I guess, it's not 228 down there. Is it 228 and 202? And then I guess that goes into Issaquah, so no.
Oh, Sahaliway or the other side?
Yeah, right by Gray Barn, yeah.
Yeah, that's Sahaliway.
Down at the roundabout, I always think of Sammamish starting at the roundabout at 143rd East Lake Sammamish Parkway, but
Okay.
It's not.
I think that's outside of our city, yeah.
coming to Sammamish when I come up that way.
Yeah, I agree. There's a little sign that says Sammamish.
Maybe the city of Issaquah will lease us a little spot.
A little easement. Yeah, and then I don't know from coming in from the east what a natural kind of entry point is on that side, but there's also coming in kind of over by, gosh, what is the name of that development over there? That's kind of east of that.
East of Kohani.
Yeah, it's over there by Duthie Hill, but I feel like there's probably somewhere over there as well that might be kind of
Trossachs.
Trossachs, thank you. That might feel like an entrance to the city.
Just sort of where my cursor is, or even further.
I think it's a little further. I'm assuming this is north.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little further north, kind of up against 202, but I don't know if 202 comes in at that point, but.
Well, I think as far as I remember, Trossachs is in Sammamish, and the community that's opposite it is like maybe it's Sammamish, but it has a different school district. So that's kind of where the boundary is.
Okay.
Are there any existing traffic studies that would help us understand where most people come to the city from?
I suspect there are. We'll check on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say the lakes are kind of hidden too. Sometimes people want their hidden gems to be hidden. Other times they want them to really be part of what you see in the front door. So there is that little park by Pine Lake, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which is kind of nice. There's the meadow on the other side. That's really I think kind of a particularly interesting point as you're moving along 228th.
Yeah, because that is a little bit hidden back there. You have to know it's there.
Yeah.
There are no clear signs to, I mean, they would know it's Pine Lake, but it's like so nice, so beautiful. That's not, maybe a big picture, what's inside, just show some vista or something.
Yeah.
And that's where sorry.
Go ahead.
That's where we have our concerts and a lot of programs. There's a field out there. There's like a playground. So a lot of kids go there, especially during the summertime. A lot of adults go there with their dogs. There's a lot of people like picnicking there in the summer. So it's not a bad spot. It's one of the more popular parks, I think.
You know, I think it seems to me that that would be a really interesting spot to have an artistic presence. You know, you go left and you're in the park and the lake is there. You go right, you go past that lovely meadow and Beaver Lake is down the other direction. So it's, to me, that's a really interesting moment as you come into town. It's also, I think, I can say this as a former soccer mom, there are so many schools here that it's a little confusing. And maybe the schools actually could have an artistic presence. One of the nice things about that is it might not have to be in your budget, but maybe we offer that opportunity because the partnerships can really leverage the funding and resources in your time. So maybe there is a presence along 228th of where the schools are, a better visibility for City Hall.
You're saying we could ask Eastlake to force Starbucks to put something up? That'll be a nice spot in front of Starbucks.
I think
And
forcing is
there's
hard.
a lot of students coming in and going. you know.
Interesting.
They make so much money off of that,
Yeah.
those students.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
They're all there.
Well, we could make it a little competition between the schools.
Yeah, well, I
And that'll
think
get it going.
yeah, some forcing is hard and can backfire. But I think if other people see something good that somebody else has done, it can inspire them. And if we said, here's a plan, here's what art along 228th could look like, that might encourage some people to do it. And if not everybody does it, we can't force them. But I think that's kind of something that a plan can do is encourage somebody to think about something they might not have thought about.
I recently visited Sculpture Park. They have these beautiful eyeball-like things where people can actually sit down. It's so beautiful. I mean, you go sit in there and then like turning around, looking at it, it's like an eyeball. They got this large face.
Yeah.
Right.
It's Louise Nelson.
So why can't they put a couple of eyeballs here? I mean, for Eastlake students to come and sit down, right? Like a bench, artistic bench.
Artistic benches are great.
Yeah.
And those are also in Pittsburgh. They're in those particular sculptures are in different places. They're cool, but they're not unique to the sculpture park. Which is kind of interesting. Thinking about.
Now, we'll settle for anything. Why unique?
Yeah.
Somewhere where people can sit down and feel like they're in an art area.
Yeah, I think Natalie has a question. Natalie, you want to ask your question?
Oh, no, I don't think I've lowered my hand. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I lost track. Do you have a way to create kind of a rendering or some way for people to see what this might look like? Is that part of what it's in your scope? Okay.
Sure. And I think there's an art to that, so that you don't want to say, oh, look, here's a totem pole or here's this piece of art, but here's an opportunity for art that is vague enough so that you're not recommending a particular thing, but a location. And I think, you're talking about the sculpture park. I mean, it's really nice to have this sequence of things. And so where is your visibility? Where would we put that sequence of things? What kinds of the spirit of your people in place do you want to show in that sequence? How do you want people to find their way around your city? Anyway, those are the kinds of things that we want to have those discussions with you. And so with discussions like this, we'll come to you with some ideas, and we'll go back and forth till we get to something that everybody feels good about. Any other questions?
I can also put the mural board up for you all to continue to add to, and I think that that's something that we can do throughout this process, is kind of have this additive, collaborative approach where we can kind of keep track of where we've been.
Have you used Miro boards before?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have not.
Tech savvy city, okay.
Tech savvy city.
Not everybody has, so if people need a tutorial, that can happen, but I think you guys have that, so you can send the link.
Yeah, I'll send the link. Sounds good.
Is there a place here which will not distract drivers? Like we put a large LED screen or something and then rotate art? Will it really bother people driving? Like, could it be somewhere where they're like taking a break, like next to a traffic stop or something, where you could put something in LED and then just rotate? $1,000 from Costco, some weather stuff around it,
Yeah, I think anything like that would need to get vetted by the transportation people. I also think that because we have so much commercial LED in our landscape, that it would have to be artistic. And maybe it's a way of showing that the technology can be artistic. But I think
you can display pictures from Louvre,
you could, yeah.
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 Why stick to just one thing? And you
Well,
can have
with LED screens, you can
rotate.
put anything you want in
Yeah.
there. But I think everything should be done in adding to the beauty and thoughtfulness of the environment. So I would just say I think we want to be careful with the screens because we have so many of them in our life. But maybe it's a way of showing that stuff on screen can be actually beautiful and more thoughtful than just advertising and stuff like that.
I'm sure many people have a lot of old pictures of Sammamish. We could rotate that too.
Yeah.
Be interesting. It's so square, but still, it's like so rectangular, not artistic. But we throw something inside.
Well, I hope that the discussion this evening has got you thinking a little bit. And the Miro board would be a great place to put your thoughts. And any thoughts are welcome. But we really look forward to having this discussion with you and walking through this and hopefully getting a much more creative and visibly creative city for Sammamish.
If we modify the Miro board, is there anything we should do to identify ourselves, or can we just kind of,
You can just go
as
wild.
ideas come out,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can just kind of blend them in there? Okay.
All the attributes will say who the author is.
Oh, great.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're welcome to identify yourself or,
You're welcome
or
to
not.
identify yourself. But
Put somebody else's name
we
on
will
it.
know. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, any questions from folks online?
This is great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Well, with that, we'll see you next time, but we'll send out the agenda beforehand with the objectives for the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have thoughts in the middle of the night or whatever, the Miro board is always open.
Thank you.
Thank
This
you.
was great. I'm excited.
Okay, wonderful. So next on our agenda is just a quick update from any subcommittees. So I don't know if Sudeshna, if you want to speak about the partnership with the King County Library, how that's going, or if anyone has updates.
Well, the one update I think, Emily, you also received from the library was they're doing their first show. I don't remember when it's coming up, but if anybody can go attend it, I'll try to send you more information. It's a puppet show, I think, and that was something that they wanted to create for or bring to for the community, and we helped them with that funding.
Perfect. I think today was a big update for the Art Strategic Plan Committee, but Anne, do you have anything you'd like to?
No
Okay.
additional updates. Thank you.
Perfect. Great. Art grants. I've been in touch with a few folks. Herd drawing, obviously they're dialed in and have all their dates scheduled to be doing programming out into the parks this summer, which is great. A few of our other grant folks who were awarded that opportunity are moving forward with projects. So as we get mid-project reports, I'll be sure to share with all of you so you can stay up to date with where that's at. Oh, sure. I'll just share here who are current. Here's a list of who's on which subcommittee. And obviously these aren't written in stone. Folks are welcome to change, switch, start a new one halfway through if you'd like. The City Hall exhibits, I can say, our Silver Jubilee photo contest. The photographers who are selected, those photos should be almost done being printed. We'll be picking them up this week, and they will be up hopefully Monday, July 1st.
Nice.
So that's great. And then also our temporary art will be out front of City Hall. I'll send you all updates on that, but that's scheduled to be installed also July 1st, which is Monday. So I'll send you lots of pictures and yays and come and check it out. So that's exciting. Anything else for subcommittees? Perfect.
I have a question.
Yes.
So does each of these committees have a chair, or if we're interested in joining a committee, do we talk to somebody on the committee, or?
So I'm happy to add your name. There's not chairs on subcommittees. These are just groups that can gather and communicate outside of our monthly meetings to talk about different projects or goals that they'd like to achieve. And then those folks will bring it back to our meeting, and this would be the time that they'd share what they're working on.
Okay.
And you had interest in the music?
Yeah, and outreach.
Music and outreach?
Yeah, if I could support both of those, I'd love to.
Yes, thank you.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Welcome to
down.
music.
Yeah.
We'd like to also put up some proposal to say like get 3K or 4K just to get all the gear, go to Moore's Brothers and then get some, equipment, put it out for everybody to use.
Yeah, I wonder too, amateur musicians have a lot of gear at home. I absolutely do that I'm not using anymore. Some kids' electric guitars and things that I'm sure that if we got active, we could find people to donate.
Yeah.
No question.
But we need
I'll be the biggest donor.
We need the pedestal, something where they can stand and play and then give it away.
Love it. Yep, that's right.
Yeah, the Sammamish Youth Board has a ton of interest in music as well, so we can kind of connect the dots there. If youth performers is what we're reaching out to, obviously it's open for adults too, but we have some good connections.
I mean, today, like he said, I go to Issaquah, the train depot. They have wonderful music happening there, right, every Wednesday or something. I go there. Nothing here.
Yeah. Okay, great. We'll take a look at the budget quickly. So no changes since last meeting. We will start to show some expenditures coming out here shortly. So as mentioned, the temporary sculpture, that will be money coming out. Silver Jubilee photo display, money will come out of there. King County Partnership, we're starting to get programming up and running, so checks will be paid out of that. So budget looks great.
What happens to the money that was allocated for the DEI art?
So that is capital. Anjali, do you mind answering that question for me?
I don't believe there's a plan to show it in the next biennial budget. At the end of your art strategic plan, whatever is decided as the scope of work, we would have to revisit the budget for operations and capital.
Okay. Help me understand what that means. The money's no longer available for us to use?
That's correct.
Okay. And there's no way to recover that before the next budget cycle?
You mean use it for a different purpose?
Yeah.
I doubt that, but I'm happy to ask if you have something specific. The first question I'll get is what specific?
I don't have that yet.
Yeah.
We just wondered if there was even a chance that we could find a way to not have to take it as a loss.
How much money are we talking about?
It's right on there, 50,000.
Wow.
45 is left.
45 is left, yeah.
And maybe I missed this, but could somebody explain what happened in brief?
Yes. So after starting the process of working through creating this art strategic plan, we felt there'd been multiple conversations with the artists and us, and we just felt that it was in the best interest for the residents, for the city, for the artists, for us to have a clear path forward of what type of art, where the art should go, what processes are we following? So we decided to wait to get through the art strategic plan before opening up the door to any permanent art. All right, any questions on budget? Okay, well, with that, I think we can, Anne, do you mind closing the meeting for us?
Okay, is that a wrap? All right. Do we need to vote on ending the meeting? I forget. I can never remember. No, we
Nope.
just end. Okay, meeting is adjourned at 8:12.
Thank you.